DJI Mavic 4 Pro, new leaks, new release date. Got that coming up next. Bill the Drone Reviewer here. If you like the content of this video or anything on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night I hosted Rotor Talk Live and was joined by Mr. Ron Braun. We spent the better part of the evening discussing all the latest regarding the DJI Mavic 4 Pro, including the new leaks, the new release date, pricing with tariffs, and so much more. So without any further ado, let's roll that clip in its entirety. We're at that magic hour of the show here. With
the star of the show is here, folks.
Yes. And one of the things that I wanted to go over right away here was I've actually found this today. And this is the first thing that I wanted to talk about, which is Drone DJ and Drone XL didn't have this, but I did find this out on X today. Okay. Now, what they did was they put the prices of the three packages right here. The leaked estimated price, for example, the Mavic 4 Pro standard at $2,250 with the tariff here, they had it at $3,015. Mavic 4 Pro Flymore combo $3,200 with a tariff $4,288. Mavic 4 Pro 512 gigabyte creator combo $4,400 with a tariff $5,896. That just right off the bat, Ron, a lot of people aren't going to buy these. I can tell you that right now.
Is there any possibility that DJI eats some of the tariff into the price point for the U.S. Buyers?
I don't know. And it depends on how much they want to, take back this kind of a thing, because obviously, it's going to stifle sales. And that they have to walk a fine line here, okay? Because how much profit are they willing to give up to make sure that these products sell here in the United States? That would be the big question here. And then the other question is this, and I know, and I've seen it before, and I've seen it out on X today, and some people were talking about this is, oh, well, you know what? I can just go to Canada and buy one up there and bring it in the United States. Not so fast here, okay? Because I tell you what, if you're going across the border, guess what? You have to be searched. I mean, you no longer hand them a piece of paper or your passport and go through. Okay, everybody gets searched coming through the border, and you have to declare things. All right, you're gonna have to declare that. All right, and if you declare that, you're gonna have to pay a tariff on it. Okay, and they're gonna be looking for things like this. And it would be the same if you would like I had done. It was get an address up in Canada, have it mailed there, and then have it mailed from that address to the United States. You'll have to pay the tariff on it, okay? If you're going to have it shipped, okay? So there's no real workaround for this, all right? This is going to be a hard and fast kind of rule for this. So Ron, it's we don't know if it's going to happen or not. Now, we're going to talk about the release date here in a minute, which is going to be a little way. The release date is going to be a little ways off, but I think with all this, Ron, I think something's going to happen by the point of time that the Mavic 4 Pro is released, that I don't think these tariffs are going to mean anything. This is just my gut feeling here. Because I think there's just too much money at stake for both sides here. And I think that you're going to see some give and take on both sides. And I think we'll, get to a point of, United States accomplishing what it wants to do in this instance here regarding these tariffs. And, again, I don't pretend to make any sense of tariffs and the economics behind all this. It boggles my mind when I think about it. I just want, I want U.S. consumers to be able to get things at a fair price. And I think, I want other countries for them to be able to get things at a fair price and not get gouged. Okay. Because that's been happening for years. Okay.
Yeah.
We have been gouged, all right, from other countries, a lot of the items that we pay for. And we don't want that to continue. And that's we're trying to get some equity here. Now, I know a lot of the countries over in Europe have already decided that they're going to do what's called reciprocal tariffs, which mean, whatever we charge, they charge, kind of a thing. So, it will be a level playing field. And I think we're trying to get China to that point as well, too, Ron.
Of course, go off the tariffs a little bit here. DJI's with drones in particular in a weird position compared to most things. I mean, say there's a tariff on clothing or shoes or whatever, or stuff that are made in the U.S. and available from other countries. But it's tough when you have a category like drones where there are no on tariff options. There is no other, well, I'll get the US drone, or I'll get it from a country that doesn't have much tariffs. I mean, you're tariffing a product that's not really available any other way.
Yeah. You're caught between a rock and a hard place, as the old saying goes, because there's no option here. I mean, you either are going to have to pay that price or not get that product. All right. That's kind of how this is shaping up for right now. All right. Now, one things that I do want to take a look at here is, let's see here. I want to get the right screen up here.
We have a gentleman in the chat, Kingfish. He's asking about the Air 4S.
Well, you know what? I think, that's a good question.
Bill, we got to get the Air 4 before we get the Air 4S, right?
Yeah, the Air 4. We've got to put the cart before the horse here, Ajax. But and get an Air 4 before an Air 4S hits our market. And there was some talk about that earlier, but there really hasn't been anything in weeks because the focus has been on the Mavic 4 Pro. Now, one of the things that we got a chance to see, Ron, which is very rare, we got to see an excerpt from email here. Yeah. Okay. And this is from DJI to an influencer here. And it talks about Dear Mavic 4 Pro early experience user. Okay. An influencer. And you can read this through your leisure. It talks about the price. And again, these are probably listed in Chinese figures right here, whatever RMB is. But it says here, the early test period is scheduled to end at 20 hours on May 11, 2025. At that time, you will need to either return the product or proceed with the official purchase. Okay. So in other words, while they send them these, okay, this is interesting here. Okay. You're finding out some information that you haven't known before. All right. It used to be that when DJI would send a product out, Ron, it would be yours to keep for a review. All right. But what apparently is happening right now is you're having to pay for it after you get it to test it. The only advantage you get is you get it early to test it. After that, you got to pay for it. All right. So that's an interesting caveat that we found out through this that I don't think a lot of people knew before. That's very, very interesting.
Or this may be something new. This may be,
it may be something brand new that DJI just started doing. On March 19th, I told you Mavic 4 Pro would be released on April 24th, but I have to disappoint you. The Mavic 4 Pro has been delayed to May 13th. This was revealed by multiple DJI insiders and confirmed in an internal leaked email from DJI to their early experience users. Let me break it down for you, okay? 24th of April is crossed off on all lists. While the images of boxes that can only open on the 24th are already circulating, rumors were going strong the drone won't be in stores on that date. My friend doesn't tweet much, but warned us 10 days ago that our Mavic 4 Pro would be delayed. Sadly, he was definitely right this time, okay? Now for something you don't see as often, a direct email from DJI to the influencers. The Chinese email, translated in English, tells the key opinion leaders it's strictly forbidden for early experience users to leak information to the outside world. Meanwhile, this email says the Mavic 4 Pro product testers are able to buy their test Mavic 4 Pro with about a 50% discount. Interesting. The base price of a Mavic 4 Pro here is 13,500 Chinese RMB, which converts to $1,850 US dollars. The price aligns fairly well with the 2250 we previously reported here on Drone XL. The price includes the RC2 remote and excluded that. Last but not least, the email states the testing period will end on Sunday, May 11th. Hitting all, the drone will launch on the first Tuesday after. DJI never releases on Monday or Friday because of different time zones in the weekend here. Okay, multiple videos have been leaked again, and again, there's some more videos. Igor has released one. To be completely honest, I'm personally a bit fed up with the Mavic 4 Pro videos of the drone in the wild. My Russian colleague Igor shared a video yesterday. Interesting, but not even newsworthy anymore. Normally, a video might leak before a drone's launch. Everyone gets very curious with this amount of leak footage. I'm only getting more hungry for actual leaks, like the official product images and specifications of Mavic 4 Pro. They're very close. With the launch day now set and confirmed for May 13th, we're again 4 more weeks from the long-awaited launch of the Mavic 4 Pro. This means the official announcement is also now postponed to May 6, 2025. But with the system in place, I expect to see all product images popping up this week. Thank you for reading all the articles. I'll be able to update you as soon as there are breaking news on this topic. Cheers. Okay, that's a lot of information to digest there, Ron. But I'm thinking one of the things here, okay, this means several things here, all right? And I'm gonna try to break these down here. First and foremost, probably some of the key influencers, beta testers, whatever you want to call them, excuse me, may have found something. Okay, so they may have pushed that back to push out a firmware update to get that taken care of. That would be a primary thing. Primary reason why they would do something like this. Okay. Now, one of the other reasons, and we've talked about this before, and I've talked about this past couple of weeks, is that what DJI is wanting to do, because we've seen drones not get stopped at customs anymore, like the Air 3S and the Mini 4 Pro. They've made it into the United States. With what I'm thinking here, they build up enough inventory of those drones here that that they're good, that you can get them. If you order them from DJI, you'll get them in a day or two. Excuse me again. I think the other thing that this can mean is they were waiting for inventory to build up in sufficient quantities here in the United States. And, that doesn't mean that there wasn't a software issue. Okay. That also means in conjunction with this, I think they're wanting to be safe rather than sorry, because as Ron knows, with the original Mavic 4, the original Mavic Pro, okay, inventory, they really caught DJI off guard. They were 6 months behind in orders. It was not a pretty picture for them for months. People were just screaming at the top of their lungs at them.
Yeah, so what we're trying to say here is DJI is no stranger to delays here in product releases or low inventory.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's one of the things that you're seeing here with this, is that DJI is very well aware of this, because they don't want to repeat this mistake ever again. And when they say it's available here, they don't want you to have to wait on getting it from Shenzhen. Okay. This is just my gut feeling. Yeah. I could be totally wrong. They could be coming from Shenzhen. I don't know. I'm just thinking that they want to get them over here because they'll bypass this whole customs issue, which apparently is not an issue anymore, because if you go out to DJI's website, the Air 3S and the Mini 4 Pro, you order them, they'll be here in 2 or 3 days.
I'm going to stop you there for a second. DJI put out a Easter special email yesterday, Easter sale, right? But if you went from a U.S. server and looked at all the popular products like the Air 3S, they were all listed as out of stock. That was yesterday afternoon when I got the email. Most of the stuff you'd want to order was listed as out of stock.
Wow. Okay.
So, that was yesterday. And another question, Bill, about the Mavic 4 Pro and the release and everything. If those prices you showed earlier are indeed the prices with the tariff tax on, what kind of hit do you think that's going to put to the sales of the Mavic 4? Do you think it'll cut the sales in half by 50%, 25%? You think we obviously know those prices, people that were planning on buying at the old prices, a percentage of them, I don't know, a big percentage, but a percentage are not going to buy it at those prices. How big a percent do you think that is, that people are going to refuse to pay those higher prices?
Well, here's an interesting point, Ron, and I saw this, and I went out to China also makes, and they're not the number one maker, Japan is, of ham radios, okay, and for correlation as far as tariffs are concerned. And there's a company called Radio Oddity, okay, and They actually are in partnership with a Chinese company called Xiegu. It begins with an X, okay, and they make ham radios, and they're popular here in the United States. All right, what they said in their email was for the units that they already have here in warehouses in the United States, there's no tariff on them. All right,
Oh, okay.
so that's a kind of a key point. All right,
Right. Right.
this is
Right.
based on a date here. Now, I
Right.
think again, if these drones are already here in the United States, the Mavic 4 Pros, if they're already here, they're not going to be hit with this tariff
Makes
because
sense.
it means it's
So you want to
basically
buy it right away, so you get one of the units that got here before the tariff went into
exactly.
effect.
So it's very possible. I'm not saying that this is the case, but I'm saying the high likelihood. If the Mavic 4 Pro is something that you want, you need to get out there. I think if they have the releases at 8 o'clock in the morning, you need to be online at 7:30. Okay,
Don't snooze, huh?
and don't snooze, and don't go to any other website except for DJI's. Okay, don't go to
Okay.
Amazon, don't go to Best Buy, don't go to Adorama, don't go to B&H. Go stay on DJI's website, okay, because that's where you're not gonna have issues. If you're gonna order from the other ones, you may not see it for months. All right, and
Wow.
you may be hit with a tariff. If you
Wow.
order through DJI, there's a good possibility, and you're a person who does this early enough, you won't have to pay that tariff. That's my guess if they're
Yeah.
here in stock already. Okay.
Hey, Bill, I don't want to interrupt you, but I do want to alert you in the chat here. I just saw this. I want to send condolences out to Jay Bird and his family. His father has passed away recently.
Yeah, Jay Bird. Yeah, we're very sorry to hear that. I know I sent you a message on Facebook. I'm very sorry you weren't able to make the meetup this year. We enjoyed it last year when you and your wife and daughter were there. That was fantastic. It was so wonderful to see your family. And we send our deepest sympathies and condolences to you and your family on that. Very hard. It's very hard to go through that. We've been through it ourselves, and it's not a fun time. But I hope you get everything taken care of there, and wish you guys all the best here. So those prices with tariffs will demand. Yeah, you're right, John. That's very true.
Yeah, and as Bill already said, we're just all speculating, guessing here. We have no idea what's going
Yeah,
on with tariffs. We have no idea what if these things are going to be in stock. It's all just guesswork.
Martin. No, I don't know what anyone is thinking here. Okay, I'm just basing my opinion here on what the purpose of these tariffs are from what I've read. And it's apolitical. It's not Republican or Democrat. Okay. Wanting to make it a fair playing surface for American consumers here because we've been ripped off for years. And that's the only point that I'm coming from here. And also too, the fentanyl drug crisis here in the United States is costing, thousands of lives are lost here each year because of that. And I think that's something that we would be real nice to get that stopped. And if you have a loved one that maybe have died or has been had anything to do with fentanyl, you know what I'm talking about here. So no, this really is this is apolitical here. I don't talk politics on this show. I had another channel, another whole nother platform that talks about it, and I don't do that here. Okay. This is 100% about drones and about getting drones in our hands here. Okay. All right. So what we're, getting back to this topic here, all right, with the delay being to May 13th and what we've come across here, if Ron's right, and let's say, the tariffs are still in place, all right, and what kind of how much of a sales impact is this going to have with the Mavic 4 Pro, okay? And also there are other drones too. Now, if DJI has been smart, they've been stockpiling their drones here in the United States, so they won't get hit with these tariffs. All right. But, conversely, the Mavic 4 Pro, we don't know if it's here already or not. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But it's going to really cut into DJI sales. It's going to have a significant impact. And not only DJI, and, while we're focusing on DJI, let's take a look at our good friend Johnny and his V-Copter, right? Because that's from Zero Zero Robotics. And the Hover, that's from Zero Zero Robotics. Autel, the Holystone, Potenzic, all of them come from over there. So they're all going to get hit with that. So, instead of paying $69 for a drone, you may pay $169 for that drone out on Amazon. So we don't know. We don't know how any of this is going to pan out. So it's kind of like put your seatbelts on and let's watch how this all plays out.
Bill, the 13th, May 13th is going to be an interesting morning, huh?
It sure will, Ron, to see where things are at. Again, one of the other things that I've said and I've talked about, and again, this is something, this is pure speculation on my part, is now, and again, this is not political. I'm just basing this on what I've seen out there, is companies, Hyundai, okay, car manufacturer, and a big company, okay, I believe they're Korean, all right?
Right.
They are going to be building a steel plant. I think it's in Alabama, if I'm not mistaken here. Okay. And adding on, it's going to add on thousands of jobs and so forth. Ford is opening up more plants here in the United States as well. And I think Toyota is opening some more plants up here in the United States. And the administration is viewing companies like that are building plants here very favorably in terms of their trade status and other things here. All right. So I think, and this is just my thinking here. All right. I think you will find DJI is going to, this is my guts telling me this, and common sense is telling me this, that I believe DJI is going to build a plant here in the United States for drones to be sold in the United States and employ United States workers. And we're going to, the whole thing with, as far as customs will be eliminated, and the whole thing with this whole security issue will be eliminated, because these drones will be built and sold in the United States for the United States, or maybe North America, as far as that's concerned. That's just something I think might happen here.
But you're talking a little bit from history. You're older than me. You remember back in the late 70s, early 80s, when Honda and Toyota first started, building their little economy cars and taking some of the market away from the U.S. car companies. They put the tariff on them back then. So then Honda and Toyota just started opening plants in the U.S. to avoid those tariffs. But I'll give you the unfortunate side. You probably remember this too. It really didn't help the consumer all that much, because like Ford and Chevy seemed to, even though they didn't have a tariff, they seemed to raise their prices to match the Japanese cars that did have the tariffs. So it really did. You're sitting around thinking those old days, I'm going to get the cheap Ford and cheap Chevy, but their prices seem to go up to match the tariff prices of the foreign cars. So it really didn't help the consumer all that much.
Oh, I agree here.
I mean, that's what happened then. That doesn't mean it's going to happen this time around.
Well,
you're right. I would love to see a couple DJI plants across this country here. I would love to see that, Bill.
I would too. And I know Lauren said he left because Lauren, we're not political here at all. Okay. And I'm not siding with one side or another side. I'm siding with the American consumer here. Okay. And also as a drone buyer and a drone pilot. Okay. That's how I'm doing my things. And I'm sorry you're leaving the show tonight.
Yeah. And anybody disagrees with Bill's opinions, you're allowed to put that in chat.
Yeah, you can do that. And Lauren was absolutely free to do that. Now I know Dre here, I hate to be the Debbie Downer, if DJI has been stockpiling drones, wouldn't make sense. American retailers would be getting supplies also. As of today, Best Buy is dry. I think in Best Buy's case, I think what you're seeing there is they had leaked drones early to before releases. And I think they got DJI told them in the strictest confidence, you're not to release these drones, period. And it happened in several releases. They came out with drones early. And I think because of that, what they did was DJI said, we're cutting Best Buy off. They're no longer considered a retailer. And it's just not now. The whole Best Buy drone thing has been going on for quite some time, because just this past weekend, we picked up our new printers at Best Buy, and I went through there and there's nothing there. And I agree, there is nothing there. And that's because DJI has cut them off. Okay. Now, if you look at Amazon or Adorama or B&H, that's a different story. They've been having drones over there, like the Air 3S. You'll see them over there at B&H and in Adorama and over on Amazon. So that's where we're at there as far as that's
Yeah,
concerned.
I
But
mean, folks, it's the Wild West right now, and all this stuff or whatever. Anything can happen any day.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
we'll
and fun, and John's what I said earlier. Try to. Well, we're almost the end of the show, but if we went on and tried to buy a Air 3S from DJI or whatever, we're getting the out of stock warning.
right, and I think that's where we're at right now is they probably ran out of inventory because I think people bought them. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
Bill, I can tell you for sure at the South Florida drone meetup, you saw more Area 3Ss flying around. It was like 2 to 1 over the next drone. They were all over the place, Bill. They could have called that the Air 3S South Florida drone meetup.
You're probably right because Ron, I get messages every day, thanking us on the show and thanking me and my videos and everything because thank you for recommending the Air 3S because it's been a fantastic drone.
It's
I
like a
just
workhorse drone because it performs so well. It's affordable. It's decent size. It's just a powerhouse workhorse.
It really is for the money, the value for the dollar for what you get for that. It does everything that you need. Okay. Only for very serious, what I would call consumers, would I recommend a Mavic 4 Pro. Okay. If you're very serious about that, if you are like Ron, for example, and you do some real estate video and photography, that would be something that would be within your purview. If you have a channel that reviews drones, obviously that would be something like for me, that would be in my purview. Okay. But for everyday normal use for what you're using it for, an Air 3S is going to far exceed your needs. It's going to do everything you wanted and then some. All right. I can't say enough nice things about that drone.
And compared to mini drone, it's a wind killer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've had that up there in 35-mile-an-hour winds, and you wouldn't have known it.
Look what Bob Casey called it. He called it the working man's drone.
He's absolutely right.
That's a good thing. You can get your lunch pay out, go to work with that drone, no doubt
He's
about
absolutely
it.
right. Now I think Josh has a great comment here. There's too many pieces in motion for any consistency of anything. We just have to sit back and wait for the dust to settle.
Exactly, Josh. A lot of moving parts out there.
Thank you for stating that, Josh. I'm just trying to present things, just trying to give you a big picture of things here. Again, I'm being apolitical here. Okay. From day one, I don't tolerate politics on this channel. I never will. I'm not being Republican or Democrat on this. I'm being pro-American. We're all, a majority of us that watch this show live in the United States. Okay. We want what's going to be best for our country. We want to be able to pay fair prices in goods and exchanges. Okay. And the whole thing of this, Josh is right. We just need to sit down, take a step back, and watch this play out. Let's enjoy. Okay, here's what I think we all ought to do over the next few weeks because we got about another 4 weeks here. These leaks are going to start to come out. We're going to get actual specifications on the drones. We're going to get the actual boxes. We're going to see them. Okay, and we're going to see them out.
The box was in the video yesterday. One of those guys leaked.
Exactly. So let's enjoy that. I'm going to go ahead.
CP Pirate said he loves the Air 3S. He got all 6 batteries for it too, so he's ready.
Yeah, okay, what do I got here? Yeah, I got one. Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put this up here. Okay. This is from Jasper. He had put this out here. But
there's that box.
Yep. There it is out in the wild.
Yep. And keep watching, Bill. Remember the gimbal rotates? They do the same effect that camera gimbals have where it goes all the way around, whatever they call that move.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see it here before the video's over, I believe. However, here it is. Watch. They have a name for this. The camera gimbals have it.
Yeah, I remember. I saw what that name was, and I'm not quite 100% sure about that.
Somebody in the chat help us out with what that effect's called, but I guess that'll be the first for a consumer drone, Bill.
Yes, Ray, it has. It
Yeah.
was approved several weeks ago.
They did it. No, remember they did it back in December or January just to make
Oh
sure they
yeah,
got
yeah,
it in.
yeah. It's been a while. But thank you for bringing that up, Ray.
And Bill, guess what Ray just got? He got the Mavic 3 Pro just recently. He bought on that Woot deal, and he unboxed it the other day and flew it for the first time.
I saw that, and Ray's having a great time with that. You know, and I have the Mavic 3 Pro too. Okay, and it's a fantastic drone. Okay, it does everything I want and then some. All right, it does, and it does it very well. Okay,
Yeah.
and you know, I'm even because because I'm a reviewer, I'm going to get the Mavic 4 Pro, but I may just be keeping the Mavic 3 Pro because I like it so much.
Did you Ray said because he got that Mavic 3 Pro, that guarantees the 4's coming now.
Question of the day. What did you think of DJI Mavic 4 Pro, new leaks, new release date? Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to fly.